As the evening light softens around you, let the gentle rhythm of the present fade into the distance, carried away by a quiet breeze. Imagine yourself stepping from the warmth of your surroundings into the dusty camps and rugged frontiers of ancient Rome, where the air carries the faint scent of leather and the distant tramp of marching boots. This journey will take you through the unyielding lives of Roman legionaries, exploring why they never truly rested, the grueling training under the Marian Reforms, the mystery of their daily routines, and the contrasting life of a Roman general, all woven into a soothing narrative to guide you toward rest. Settle into the stillness, and let the rhythm of their discipline begin to ease your mind as we embark on this peaceful voyage through history. The faint tramp of marching boots lingers in your mind. Let us step softly into the life of a Roman legionary in 50 CE, stationed along the sun-scorched frontier of Britannia, where the rhythm of duty shapes every moment. Imagine yourself awakening in a canvas tent, the air cool with the scent of dew-soaked grass and the faint tank of leather from your armor. The landscape stretches before your rolling hills under a pale dawn sky, the sound of a distant river flowing gently, a relentless call to action. Settle into the steady pace of his unyielding existence, and let the quiet details guide your thoughts as we explore why rest was a rare luxury. Picture the tent, its rough fabric sagging slightly under the weight of morning mist. The texture coarse as you brush against it to rise. The ground beneath is hard-packed earth, covered with a thin straw mat. Its scratchy surface, a constant companion as you adjust your sandals. The air grows warm with the scent of camp smoke as the legionary prepares his hands, steady as he straps on a larica segmentata, the metal plates cool and heavy. Against his chest, the sound of buckles clicking, a gentle rhythm. Outside, the first light reveals a sprawling camp, its wooden palisades standing tall, the scent of baking bread from the ovens, a faint comfort amid the constant demand for readiness. His day begins with the call to march. Imagine walking the muddy track outside the tent, the air thick with the scent of damp earth, and the faint tang of sweat from his comrades, the sound of hobnailed boots striking the ground a steady beat. The constant struggle is to keep pace, his legs aching from yesterday's patrol. The texture of his pilomet's wooden shaft, smooth, its iron tip sharp cool in his grip as he adjusts it. The air carries the distant bark of a centurion's orders. The rhythm of the column, a relentless pulse. The horizon dotted with the silhouettes of other legionaries, their red cloaks swaying gently in the breeze. Midday brings a brief pause, yet rest eludes him. Picture halting on a grassy knoll, the air warmed by the sun, the scent of wild thyme crushed underfoot, a subtle relief, the sound of waterskins sloshing as they are passed around. His meal is simple hard barley bread, its texture dry but filling, and a sip of pasca, the vinegary taste a quiet solace, the metal cup cool against his lips. The constant struggle is to eat quickly, the air filled with the murmur of soldiers sharing news, the rhythm of their voices, a gentle hum. The scent of leather repairs lingers as he mends a sandal strap, the texture of the thread rough under his fingers. The day's march looming once more. The afternoon demands labor beyond marching. Imagine standing at a camp construction site, the air heavy with the scent of freshly cut timber and the faint temps of sweat, the sound of axes chopping wood, a steady cadence. The constant struggle is to dig trenches or raise ramparts. His hands blistered from the shovel, the earth cool and gritty as it shifts beneath him. The air carries the distant clatter of a blacksmith's hammer, the rhythm of their work a continuous pulse, the texture of a completed wall smooth as he pats it down. The legionary's body aches, yet the day's tasks press on, the air stilling with the weight of their unending duty. This life carries the shadow of vigilance. The air grows cool as evening approaches, the scent of damp wool thick as he adjusts his cloak during a night watch. Lives sometimes threatened by ambushes, though we need not dwell on the details. The sound of a wolf's howl in the distance prompts a tense silence, the constant struggle to stay alert. The air filled with the faint aroma of burning pine from a watchfire. His dreams are of Rome, the texture of marble temples, a distant memory. The rhythm of his patrol, a test of endurance, as he leans on his spear, the ground hard beneath his feet. As night falls, the camp grows still, the air warm with the scent of embers from dying fires, the sound of snoring from nearby tents, a gentle lullaby. He returns to his mat, the texture of the straw rough against his weary body, the constant struggle to find rest overshadowed by the next day's march. The air carries the soft hum of the wind, the village beyond the camp settling into silence, broken only by the occasional crackle of flames. Imagine yourself there, the coolness of the earth easing your thoughts, the rhythm of this legionary's tireless life slowing your mind, guiding you toward rest as we prepare to leave this frontier world behind. As the quiet rhythm of the legionary's frontier life fades into the stillness of the Britannia night, let us gently turn our thoughts back to a transformative moment in Roman history, the Marian Reforms of 107 BCE, where the steady hand of Gaius Marius reshaped the legions with unyielding rigor. Imagine yourself standing on a dusty training ground in northern Italy, the air warm with the scent of sun-baked earth and the faint tang of metal from newly forged swords. The sound of a distant eagle's cry blends with the tramp of boots, a rhythm that guides us into the disciplined world of legionary training. Settle into the measured pace of this era, and let the rhythm of their preparation ease your mind as we explore this pivotal chapter. Picture the training field, a vast expanse of hard-packed dirt stretching toward the horizon, its texture rough under your sandals as you shift your weight. The air grows heavy with the scent of sweat and the faint aroma of leather from the recruit's gear. The sound of a centurion's whistle cutting through the stillness, a gentle call to order. Gaius Marius, a weathered general in his 50s, stands at the center, his face lined with experience. His tunic, of course, wool-stained with the dust of command, the texture of his vine stick smooth in his hand as he surveys the men. The constant struggle is to forge a new army, his voice a steady murmur blending with the wind, the rhythm of his reforms a quiet revolution. The reforms begin with recruitment, a radical shift from tradition. Imagine walking among the recruits, the air cool with the scent of morning dew and the faint tints of rust from their makeshift shields. The sound of their footsteps a hesitant beat. Marius opens the legions to the caput censita, head count, or landless poormen, once deemed unfit for service. Their hands rough from farm labor, the texture of their calluses a contrast to the polished grips of their pila. The constant struggle is to integrate these volunteers, the air filled with the murmur of their oaths, the rhythm of their enlistment, a steady pulse as they swear loyalty to Rome. The scent of olive oil lingers as they anoint their feet for the march, the ground vibrating softly under their numbers. Picture a long day on the field, the air warmed by the midday sun, the scent of crushed grass, thick as the recruits' drill, the sound of wooden swords clashing a rhythmic cadence. The constant struggle is to master the gladius, its short blade cool and sharp in their hands, the texture of the wooden practice post splintering under repeated strikes. Marius oversees, his voice a measured growl, the air filled with the grunt of effort and the faint aroma of sweat-soaked tunics. The rhythm of their exercises thrust parry, step builds endurance, the ground hard beneath their feet, the sound of a drum marking time, a gentle hum. Imagine standing by a tent as the Aquila is raised, the air still with the scent of polished bronze and the faint tank of oil used to shine it. The texture of the standard's pole, smooth under the standard bearer's grip. The constant struggle is to instill pride, the rhythm of their salute a unified beat, the sound of their cheers blending with the flap of banners in the breeze. Marius's innovation binds the legion to this symbol, the air filled with the murmur of prayers to Jupiter, the ground marked with the eagle's imprint as they march past. The scent of incense from a nearby altar lingers, a quiet ritual amid the training. Marching camps become a cornerstone of their readiness. Picture a late afternoon as the legion constructs a castra, the air heavy with the scent of freshly cut timber and the faint aroma of earth turned by shovels, the sound of axes chopping a steady rhythm. The constant struggle is to build quickly, their hands blistered from the stakes, the texture of the ramparts rough as they pat them down. The air carries the distant clatter of a cookpot, the rhythm of their labor a continuous pulse, the ground cooling as night falls. Marius insists on this mobility, the scent of pine smoke from watchfires a comfort, the sound of a sentry's call a gentle reminder of vigilance. Imagine a supply tent at dusk, the air warm with the scent of grain sacks, and the faint temps of iron from repaired armor, the texture of a leather satchel smooth as it's packed. The constant struggle is to carry all provisions. The rhythm of loading mules, a measured beat, the sound of harnesses jingling softly. Marius equips each soldier with a sarcina, a heavy pack of tools, and food, the air filled with the grunt of effort as they hoist it, the ground marked by their tracks. The scent of dried meat lingers, a practical necessity, the rhythm of their preparation, a testament to endurance. This training carries the shadow of hardship. The air grows cool as rain falls, the scent of wet wool thick as they huddle under cloaks, lives sometimes tested by exhaustion, though we need not dwell on the details. The sound of a recruit's collapse prompts a pause, the constant struggle to push forward, the air filled with the faint aroma of medicinal herbs from a medicus's kit. The rhythm of their resilience builds, the texture of a muddy path slippery underfoot, the ground softening as they press on. As night deepens, the camp grows still, the air warm with the scent of embers from dying fires, the sound of snoring from nearby tents a gentle lullaby. The recruits rest on straw mats, the texture rough against their weary bodies, the constant struggle to recover overshadowed by the next day's drill. The air carries the soft hum of the wind, the village beyond the camp settling into silence, broken only by the occasional crackle of flames, guiding you toward rest as we prepare to explore the next chapter of their lives. As the quiet rhythm of the Marian Reforms fades into the stillness of the Italian training ground, let us gently turn our thoughts to the daily lives of Roman legionaries, their relentless routines uncovered through the whispers of history. The year settling into 50 CE along the Rhine frontier. The sound of a gentle breeze rustling through the trees blends with the distant hum of modern archaeologists, a rhythm that guides us into the mystery of their days. Settle into the measured pace of this past, and let the rhythm of their labor ease your mind as we explore this enduring legacy. Picture the campsite, its outlines traced by weathered stones and shallow trenches. The texture rough under your hand as you brush against a crumbling wall. The air grows warm with the scent of damp soil turned by trowels. The sound of a metal detector's soft beep cutting through the silence. A gentle call to uncover the past. Archaeologists, their voices, low and measured, reveal a barracks foundation. The constant struggle to piece together daily life. The rhythm of their excavation, a steady pulse. The texture of a broken amphora shard, smooth in your fingers. The Legionaries' day begins with the call to rise. Imagine standing in the reconstructed barracks, the air cool with the scent of straw mats. The constant struggle is to shake off sleep, his hands rough as he adjusts his caligae, the hobnails clicking softly against the stone floor. The air fills with the murmur of comrades, the rhythm of their morning routine, a gentle hum. The texture of a wool cloak, scratchy as he drapes it over his shoulders. The scent of smoky porridge from a clay pot lingers, a simple meal to fuel the day. The ground hard beneath his feet as he steps outside mid-morning brings the task of fortification. Picture working the camp's defenses. The air heavy with the scent of freshly cut timber and the faint aroma of sweat. The sound of axes chopping a steady cadence. The constant struggle is to deepen ditches or reinforce ramparts, his hands blistered from the shovel, the earth cool and gritty as it shifts beneath him. The air carries the distant clatter of a carpenter's hammer, the rhythm of their labor, a continuous pulse, the texture of a completed palisade, smooth as he pats it down. The scent of pine resin lingers, a quiet marker of their effort, the ground marked with the tracks of their toil. The afternoon demands weapon maintenance. Imagine sitting by a tent flap, the air warmed by the sun, the scent of oil thick as he polishes his gladius, the sound of a whetstone scraping a gentle rhythm. The constant struggle is to keep the blade sharp, the texture of the metal cool under his fingers, the air filled with the faint aroma of leather from his scabbard. The ground is soft with scattered straw, the rhythm of his strokes a meditative beat, the scent of a nearby forge adding a metallic temps. Archaeologists in 2025 uncovered a similar blade near the Rhine. Its edge still keen, the air in the lab thick with the preservative chemicals. Evening brings the ritual of the watch. Picture standing at the camp's edge, the air cool with the scent of damp wool and the faint hum of the wind, the sound of a sentry's call, a soft echo. The constant struggle is to stay alert, his hands gripping a pilum, the wooden shaft smooth, the iron tip glinting faintly in the moonlight. The air carries the distant howl of a wolf, the rhythm of his patrol a steady pulse, the texture of the ground uneven underfoot. The scent of burning pine from a watchfire lingers, a quiet comfort, the air stilling with the weight of vigilance. This routine carries the shadow of endurance. The air grows heavy with the scent of rain-soaked earth as storms pass. Lives sometimes tested by the elements, though we need not dwell on the details. The sound of a comrade's cough prompts a pause, the constant struggle to maintain health, the air filled with the faint aroma of herbal poultices from a medicus's tent. The rhythm of their resilience persists, the texture of a muddy path slippery as they press on, the ground softening with the season's turn cultural artifacts enrich this tale. Imagine a modern dig site near Vindanisa, the air cool as tents flap softly in the breeze, the ground marked with strings to guide excavation. The sound of brushes sweeping dust blends with the murmur of scholars, their voices low as they uncover a gaming die, the bone cool and etched with dots. The constant struggle for historians is to interpret these finds. The rhythm of their analysis, a steady process of dating and cataloging. The air in the tent, thick with the aroma of old leather from excavated satchels. Recent posts from August 2025 highlight a cookpot shard, its surface blackened, revealing their simple fare. As night falls, the camp grows still, the air warm with the scent of embers from dying fires. The sound of snoring from nearby tents, a gentle lullaby. The legionary rests on his mat, the texture rough against his weary body. The constant struggle to recover, overshadowed by the next day's tasks. The air carries the soft hum of the wind. The forest beyond the camp, settling into silence, broken only by the occasional crackle of flames. Imagine yourself there, the coolness of the earth easing your thoughts, the rhythm of this routine slowing your mind, guiding you toward rest as we prepare to explore the next chapter of their world. As the quiet rhythm of the Legionaries' daily routine fades into the stillness of the Rhine night, let us gently turn our thoughts to a world of strategy and privilege, carried by the soft rustle of a tent flap in a distant command post. Imagine yourself standing at the threshold of a Roman general's tent, the year settling into 50 CE, along the Danube frontier, the air warm with the scent of roasted lamb and the faint hum of advisors moving within. This is the life of a Roman general, a stark contrast to the legionaries' toil, where the rhythm of authority shapes each day under the weight of command. Settle into the measured pace of this sanctuary, and let the rhythm of his leadership guide your mind as we explore this contrasting existence. Picture the tent, a spacious structure of heavy canvas dyed crimson, its texture smooth yet taut against the wooden frame. The air inside rich with the scent of myrrh incense and the subtle temps of polished bronze from his armor stand. The ground is covered with a thick rug of woven wool, its softness a luxury under your sandals, and a long table dominates the space. Its surface, scarred by maps and wax tablets, the sound of a scribe's stylus scratching a gentle cadence. This is the domain of the general, perhaps, a figure like Gnaeus Julius Agricola, his face lined with experience, his tunic of fine linen adorned with a purple stripe, the texture cool against his skin as he adjusts his cloak. The constant struggle is to maintain this grandeur, a quiet undercurrent beneath his authority. The day begins with a leisurely rise. Imagine him awakening on a camp bed, its frame of carved oak cushioned with down-filled mattresses. The softness, a stark contrast to the legionary's straw mat, the texture smooth against his body. His chamber is warmed by a brazier, the air thick with the scent of burning cedar and the faint aroma of lavender from a silver bowl on a stand. He dresses in a tunic of soft wool, its hem embroidered with gold thread, layered with a sorghum cloak, the weight a symbol of rank. The air filled with the gentle rustle of fabric as servants assist. His breakfast is abundant roasted pheasant, its juices pooling on a pewter plate, and a cup of spiced wine, the warm flavors filling the air as he eats slowly. The rhythm of his meal, a deliberate pause to plan the day. His routine is one of strategic oversight. Picture him walking the tent's interior, the air cool with the scent of freshly inked parchment and the faint tank of leather from his chair, his boots clicking softly on the rug. The sound of a messenger's arrival blends with the murmur of aides, the texture of a velvet cushion soft beneath him as he sits to review reports, the constant struggle to balance campaigns and supplies. The air carries the faint aroma of beeswax from candles, and he traces a map with a stylus, the parchment crinkling softly, the rhythm of his decisions a steady pulse. The tent shields him from the frontier's harshness, the air purified with burning sage, a privilege denied to the soldiers beyond the palisade. The court serves as a social hub, a place where the elite reinforce their status. Imagine an evening council, the air thick with the aroma of roasted lamb and the soft clink of silver goblets as officers and allies dine. The table is laden with platters of figs and aged cheese, the texture of the fruit juicy in their hands, and the conversation flows in a gentle hum, punctuated by the occasional laugh. Musicians play a lyre, its notes humming a slow tune, the sound blending with the crackle of the brazier. Servants move silently, their footsteps muffled on the rugs, the air filled with the scent of baked bread from the camp kitchens. The constant struggle to sustain this opulence, a quiet effort beneath the surface yet. This elite existence carries its own burdens. The general must maintain his reputation, his days filled with the constant struggle to outmaneuver rivals like the Dacians or Britons. The air sometimes tense with the weight of expectation. The scent of a courier's horse lingers as news arrives. Lives sometimes lost in distant skirmishes, though we need not dwell on the details. The rhythm of his life overseeing feasts, receiving dispatches, resting in a cushioned chairs, tempered by the need to inspire loyalty, the air filled with the scent of incense to ward off unease. The constant struggle is to project strength, his aides gathered around the map table, their voices a soft murmur as they discuss strategy. Outside the tent, the Legionaries' world continues in contrast. Picture the camp where they labor, the dust clinging to their sandals, the air heavy with the scent of sweat and earth, their stomachs growling from meager rations. Their nights are spent in drafty tents, the sound of the wind a constant hum. While the general retires to a warm bed, the scent of lavender lingering. The legionaries' hands are rough from the shovel, their days a relentless cycle of fortification, while his are softened by the stylus and the reins, his life a steady flow of privilege. This divide, shaped by Rome's hierarchy, defines the rhythm of the frontier, a quiet interplay of endurance and ease. The afternoon brings leisure, the rhythm of the camp slowing. Imagine the general sitting in a folding chair, the air warm with the scent of beeswax candles, the texture of a velvet cushion soft beneath him as he reads from a scroll of Tacitus, the parchment crackling softly. The sound of a flute drifts from the tent flap, the air filled with the gentle melody, the constant struggle to maintain culture amid military tensions, a quiet ambition. The servants move silently, their footsteps muffled on the rugs, the air carrying the faint aroma of roasting meat from the kitchens, the rhythm of their labor a steady pulse. The evening deepens with a tactical review, the air still with the scent of cedar and the faint hum of the wind outside. He sits at the map table, the texture of the wood hard yet polished, tracing plans on parchment, the stylus scratching softly. The constant struggle is to anticipate the enemy's move, the rhythm of his leadership a testament to foresight, the air filled with the murmur of aides. The tent grows quiet, the servants retiring, the air heavy with the promise of rest. The contrast between his world and the legionaries' toil lingering in the stillness. Imagine yourself there, the warmth of the tent easing your thoughts, the rhythm of this authority slowing your mind, guiding you toward rest as we prepare to draw our journey to a close. As the quiet rhythm of the Roman general's tent fades into the stillness of the Danube night, let the steady pulse of ancient Rome gently slip away, carried by the soft sigh of the wind through the frontier trees. Imagine yourself stepping back from the dusty camps and privileged command posts, the scent of myrrh, incense, and roasted lamb lingering faintly in the air, the sound of the cornu horn growing distant. This journey through the unyielding lives of legionaries, the transformative Marian Reforms, the mystery of their daily routines, and the contrasting life of a Roman general has woven a tapestry of endurance and order. A steady thread in the fabric of history. The Rome of their time was a world of relentless discipline and stark divides. Their days filled with the scent of sweat-soaked leather, the murmur of training grounds, the smoky air of campfires. Their hands, rough from the shovel and sword, built an empire. While the generals were softened by the stylus and the reins, his life a balance of strategy and privilege. The shadow of hardship and battle touched their world, lives sometimes poured out onto the ground. But these moments were softened by the passage of time, woven into the broader rhythm of Rome's legacy. Now, as the night deepens around you, let that distant world fade into the warmth of the present. The chill of their frontiers is replaced by the gentle heat of your surroundings, the sound of their marches by the quiet of your space. The camp tents give way to the comfort of your own room, where the air carries no tension, and the rhythm of their lives blends into a lullaby for your thoughts. Picture the braziers' glow dimming, the wind outside a mere whisper, and allow your mind to drift, carried by the steady flow of history into the peace of sleep. As this journey ends, let the echoes of their world linger only as a gentle memory, a contrast to the ease you now feel. The rhythm of their labor, the warmth of the general's tent, the weight of their discipline all settle into silence, guiding you toward rest. Sleep now, and let the past fade into the quiet night.